I told you so. I told you so. I told you so. Last year, when Harvey incident happened, or murder, I should say, happened, I told you guys that the guy recording was a part of it. Now, some of you say, how? Well, what are the odds that a person was out there recording a video that's stable? I mean, yeah, there have been people who've been out there caught things random, but they knew if the camera was zoomed in tightly on them tussling with this young man. And stuff started to come out, and you got caught in the lie. And I told you guys, listen long enough, people tell themselves. When they picked the jury the way they did, and put a predominantly white jury, you knew the fix was in. Even the judge said it. But Georgia law is nothing that he really can do, unfortunately. This is one of the reasons why I say we have to vote. I know a lot of us feel that vote is wasting time, but if you don't understand politics and the things that you need to have working for you, then you're gonna be blind to the world. And too many of our brothers and sisters made the ultimate sacrifice just a short 50 years or so ago. But anywho's, the media has been giving these lawyers that represent these free men, or the lawyer, I should say, the face of a team, a wide berth. Yesterday, he showed his racism, really showed it, by focusing on something that I've never, ever heard anybody focus on, is who sits in the courtroom. Now, if the judge feels that it's a security or safety issue, they will shut it off to the public. It won't be televised or any of those things. Now, ever since the O.J. Simpson trial, and it's some other trials, but more so since the O.J. Simpson trial, they make sure that you don't see the jury because they don't want the jury harassed unless the jury decide they want to go out there and put themselves on the cameras for selfish reasons. But the thing is, Kevin Goff, decided that he wanted to focus on Al Sharpton and Reverend Jackson. Reverend Jackson and Al Sharpton, whether you like them or not, a lot of the stuff that y'all heard about them have been exaggerated or flat out lies. Um, is that for more support? There's no different than Sean Hannity using his television show to show support, even though it's questionable, or Tucker Carlson. But the idea that black people who are well known showing up and showing support, it irks the hell out of white people. If you notice, when black celebrities speak up for issues, what do they do? Well, you're a celebrity. Shut up and do your job. Or they threaten to go after their money, or destroy their character. That's what this lawyer was doing yesterday. He wanted to say that all white jury is going to be intimidated by Reverend Sharpton and Reverend Jackson. Since when has a white person been intimidated by Reverend Sharpton and Reverend Jackson? Maybe those in the business realm, or those in law enforcement. I want that type of press, that heat. But the jury thinking about Sharpton. He was there one day in the back, sitting there, didn't say anything, didn't interrupt the proceedings. Reverend Jackson was battling Parkinson's disease. Man was just in the hospital battling COVID. He still said, let me go show this family some support. And the reason being is because any black person here in America or around the globe, especially in America, we may not know the Aubrey's, but we feel they pain. We know that could be any one of us at any moment. We know people who have been murdered. Maybe not necessarily by the hands of white supremacists, but we know what it was like to lose a loved one to murder. Case in point, I'm still dealing with the crap with the system about my sister's murder. and it can go on another year or two, or the person who got away with it may get a slap on the wrist. It happens. Now, because of COVID, we can't be restriction. We can't be the court. We had to do everything through the internet. Now, if we were able to do anything about court, and the woman who murdered my sister family come and support her, I get it. May not agree with it, but I get it. I wouldn't object to being in the court. That's their love. Just like I hope they wouldn't object when me and my siblings or aunts or uncles or cousins were in the courtroom, representing our family. What this lawyer did was distasteful, but very, very racist. He focused on black. There are other people in there that may be supportive. You assume because they black that they automatically must be there, or because Sharpton is there that somehow he's going to muck up the proceedings. No, Sharpton, he can go out and get in front of the cameras and say things. No, he's sitting in the courtroom quiet. What it is, he didn't like the idea of black people supporting his family. Showing that's what it was. The judge even was like, dude, really? Even the people on his own team was like, come on, man, you just went there. And then the motherfucker turned around and used a chicken reference. Colonel Sanders, you're going to use a chicken reference when talking about black folk. Bill Maher, any of these so-called liberals or conservatives tell black folk that racism doesn't exist or it's better than it was, says you. This Kyle Rittenhouse trial, this Ahmaud Arbery trial has showed you white privilege on full display, white arrogance. Those of you who are white, who don't have this mindset, it's up to you to fight people like this. Black folk, we've been telling y'all for hundreds of years that, y'all following a particular mindset. Y'all don't believe in anybody else's humanity. You go online, you got people who are white or people who want to be part of the white community telling us, oh, it's not racism. Ahmaud Arbery, he must have done something. Let me break this to you. You know your clients are losing when you gotta go reach into and bring a race. They keep interjecting race more into this than anything. Now we know what kind of lawyer and with the mindset of the guys. We already knew they was racist because where they hunted the brother down. But we know what kind of lawyer you got. Those of you who claim to be friends of the black community, stop telling us that we imagine or we exaggerating these things. If the NWCP, the Urban League, or any of the Congressional Black Caucus, or any of these organizations or political apparatuses that say they represent the black community should have say we need to investigate these judges and these lawyers put down these crazy ass rulings and say some of these asinine things. This lawyer, I would investigate his ass. And don't think that he probably never took on a black client. Easy money. If I was you, I'd take yeah. How many innocent black men that went to jail because this lawyer shenanigans? How many his white clients got off for heinous crimes because of his shenanigans? Or I should say his racism. I mean, here it is. If we're going to ban people in the courtroom, then you need to clear outside. You don't need no cameras. You don't need no protests. You don't need nobody. You need to clear. You need to clear. What it is that the idea that black folks see, this is what racists don't like, us being unified. This is why you had people planted in various center-right organizations to disrupt everything. Your clients are losing. Let me tell you something. When you get Joe Scarborough, them starting out their show talking about the Rittenhouse trial and the Harvey trial, and then pointed out the blatant hypocrisies and the racism. Black folk like we've been telling y'all. But see, you have a group of people that for damn near 400, 500 years have been living such a dominant position, which they've done under violence or subterfuge. They don't want to let go of that power, even though they're a minority. They've always been a minority. Let me repeat, they're the true minorities of the world. A lot of these white men let me tell you something. This dude can be more. I'm gonna say this right now because a lot of these dudes don't look their age. He can very well be in his 50s. He can very well be in his 60s or 70s. Let's just say he's in his 70s or mid 60s. He grew up at a time where black folk was still segregated in the North and in the South. He's old enough to have seen that and experienced it. See, us 70 babies of us born in the mid 70s, we were still experiencing the crap they dealt with in the 1960s and the early 80s. So just imagine him growing up in the 70s or 60s, what did he see? See, a lot of you younger cats, y'all see it, but it's not until it smacks you in the face directly when you're like, oh my gosh. We pick up on the little nuances and stuff. I guess they just focus on the black pastors. Some people probably even before by him being a chicken at the same time. I'm like, do y'all know what he just did? He could have used a Ronald McDonald. He could have used a movie star. No, he used Colonel Harley Sanders. The guy that made his money and name off chicken. And what's the stereotype about black folk? We love the chicken. I mean, not love, but love the chicken. If this dude ain't racist, I don't know who is. Every day we see and hear things, and people tell us that we're the one with the problems. This is why America has a big ass bulldog on it, and people don't get it. Aaron Rodgers lied about being vaccinated. Whether you believe in the shot or not, a lot of y'all let this shit become politicized and y'all let it become racialized. Okay? You're not going to die from the shot. I know they're going to disagree with me on that, but you're not going to die from it. Okay? There are a lot of black folk out here and got it, and they still walking around. The very people tell you, you invaded my freedom of choice, coughing along as we speak. Now I bring it up because Aaron Rodgers lied about it, and the media said he was wrong. NFL just give him a phone. Colin Kaepernick took a piece from me. Get him out of here. He's un-American. He ain't 100% black. His parents adopted were white. That's all we heard was deflection and more racism. And then you get people telling black folk, what you saw and what you heard is not what you saw and what you heard. You're just too sensitive. Or you revert, I love that they say you reverse racism. Now you say racism don't exist, but then you call me reverse racist. So it does it exist or don't exist. There's no such thing as a black person being racist. We can react negative to white supremacy. But trust and believe. The race card, reverse those terms, those are coined by white folk that got an agenda. It's like the dude that came up with critical race theory, or he twisted the meaning of it. He said, "Hey guys, critical race theory is teaching your kids to hate themselves." That's not what it is. This would be a perfect example of critical race theory. A lawyer was being racist about racism in a way they should have. Is already the whole scenario is already about race, but you added more to it, I should say. And he couldn't help himself because I'm telling you, he's done this before. Or something like it before. We live in a society where so-called dumplings, when I say so-called, they're not really dumplings. I'm gonna keep it, I've been saying this for years. They want you to bow down to them. They want you to fear them. Everything that comes out of their mouth is violent, 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 violent. Never can they sit down and say, let's have a discussion. They try to do that over the years. They try to see the men do it backwards and say, we forget what you've done to us. I don't. But like I said, I meet white folk, I judge them as like I would judge any black person, but I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm waiting for certain words and phrases of body reaction. Like I said, within the first 5-10 minutes, I can tell when I'm dealing with a racist. Maybe one or two occasions, I let my guard down and wasn't paying attention like I should, and I got burnt. But cats like this, they can't help themselves. They got diarrhea in their mouth. Like I told you, they don't talk long enough. They'll tell on themselves. So those of you who wonder why I had to defend this cat, go ahead. You just reinforce what I already know. No more black pastors. Wow, dude. Wow. Al Sharpton attending this year. Now, I think what they're afraid is that Al Sharpton is going to go on the show this weekend and talk about how they think the case is going on and whatnot. And they're afraid that he's going to use his platform to mobilize black folk to be protesting what's going on. That's what they live in, that type of fear. When they fear that black folks are going to come to watch the system play, good or bad, and they don't want to influence any young black person if they say, I'm going to go into law. That's one thing they really try to discourage blacks from going into law. What gets me is just the sheer arrogance of these people. These lawyers and these judges, when they run for office, you need to know their background, you need their voting record. That's why I say vote is important, especially local, or more so local, I should say. Now, I know I say when people like this display their ignorance and that vitriol and hatred they got for us, I can only say some shit, but I said it was defeating the purpose. We gotta stop letting people get away with the stuff they do to us. People who don't have our experience telling us it's not racism. You guys always yelling race. You ain't never experienced it. How you gonna tell us what we know and what we don't know? We've seen lawyers like this before. They are extremely dangerous. You know he has no case. It's frustrating, like to say the least. It's hurtful, but at the same time, this has been our reality. I'm not saying that we should accept it. This is our reality. And the only way we're going to challenge this is those white folk that claim not to be racist, that claim to be our allies, they got to go out and push back on this. Like, this happened in Georgia, and I don't want to indict the entire state. I don't. But I do know when I was stationed down there at Fort Stewart, when I was going to, when I went into Savannah, or was that Richmond? Richmond, I forget the exact name. It's right next to Hinesville. I mean next to Savannah and whatnot. Some of the white folk down there was very nice, and it wasn't fake. But I know when I got to certain parts of Georgia, when you don't know that nigga, they didn't say it, but you could see it in their face, in their body movement, their tone. This is why those three men thought they can get away with it. And then you had to look at a prosecutor, look at the lady in them, look at the police officers. They all knew what they were doing. And yes, he came out, his racism came out. And he said, no more black bastards. So next time somebody tell you that you're reverse racist or you're exaggerating or you try to win over people or whatever they excuse they use. Go get this. Go get the audio of this dude saying that we don't need no more black ash in here. Then tell him to watch a judge and even the people on his team facial expression. It's sad.